Hey guys, this episode of Me Time is going to have a bit of a disclaimer and a bit of discretion advised. We get into some real topics, some real themes. Some of you might be uncomfortable listening to it.
All contacts for any services you may need are down in the description.
Tea Time was too much of a good title for him to turn down, so he's headed that route.
Yeah.
So he may come back as a collaborator, but until then, I fear he may be our biggest competitor. Oh, if anyone can do it, Tetley can. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome back to episode 30 of Me Time, and I did get the episode title right this time, the episode number per se.
Yeah.
Embarrassingly, did not get it right last time. Going in with gusto, saying episode 28. Hang on a minute. No, so this will be our final movies with meaning episode.
Mm-hmm.
Where we're talking about movies dear and special to us, that have meaning, that have a little bit more weight, and allows us to not only immerse in a new world and enjoy a film, but to understand a little bit more about ourselves and the world around us. And that movie was made for a very, very good reason, artful in a way.
Yeah.
So last week in episode 29, linked up there, if you haven't watched that already, we started to talk about Shawshank Redemption, and we spoke a lot about the concept of judgment, of evil, redemption, atoning for sins, and the dichotomy of good and evil, as it were. It got deep pretty fast. And we gave a non-spoiler sort of synopsis of Shawshank. So hopefully, if you haven't seen Shawshank by now, you have. So I wanted to round this up and round Shawshank up by talking about a little bit more of the emotional maturity and the insight of the movie. It explores humanity from start to finish. That is one of its core focuses on the narrative. And it is a film that I am not shying away from to say that I teared up in. Not many films get that from me. I'd say a lot of TV shows get that title from me as well. My hero. But I remember though, I went through a time when my emotions were developing, and obviously like pubescent teenager, where movies didn't necessarily, things like made me emotional, but never made me cry. But as I've grown older, my emotional maturity, anyway, from my belief, has improved significantly.
I think it's fair. Mine as
well. I can see that. I can. And I'm not afraid to cry anymore about things that make me sad. If anything, it feels better to be more open about it. And Shawshank Redemption, there was one moment, and I will jump into that shortly, that I wasn't a wreck, but I did weep. I thought it was ridiculously sad. And it was Brooks. It was old sweet Brooks. A character, as you know, that was introduced as a librarian, the librarian, and the someone who was looking after the files of the prison, and he had been there for many, many years. He was a very old man, and he's introduced to us in the prison cafeteria, and he goes up to Andy and he asks him if he's going to eat any of his food, and he goes, no, I'm not going to do that. And he goes, perfect. And he uses it to nurse a hurt crow back to health. So the second we're introduced to Brooke, we already see that he's got this element of care to him, that he is not ashamed to be a bit not even different is the word I'm looking for, to show his caring nature. And when it,
I think it's pretty brave in that role as well.
I'd say so. He's been there. He is the oldest person there. He even says, I've seen all sorts of prisoners come and go, and I've seen all sorts of guards come and go. I believe he also says this, like, Warden Norton don't really like him, and at that point in the movie, you're just all like, why don't you like him? And watch episode 29 to understand why Warden Norton is pretty bad guy.
Yeah.
But naturally, Andy molds with him because Andy also is a good person, and Andy has a lot of experience in law and finance. That was his job. He was in finance. He was a financial advisor. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if that was his official job title, but he was in money. He was in money and funding. So naturally, he paired up with Brooks because Brooks had all the pens, the paper, all the materials that he might need. So they paired him with Brooks as a sort of prison job. And Brooks really took a shine to Andy, and the pair of them got on very well and naturally became part of the gang. It wasn't until later on in the movie, when things were slowly starting to go well for the prison, that Brooks lashes out at one of the characters, and you're like, why does Brooks do that? Suddenly, a good man, a good person, is doing something questionable. He is holding obviously he's threatening his life. He's holding a knife to the throat, and it is, a very dire scene where he's just like, why is he doing that? And he starts breaking down when you realise his parole is up. He served his life sentence. An old man has been told that this whole place where you have spent your entire life and you've just got on with it, and we're happy for the services that you've paid to this prison, this system, but get out. They're basically saying, just like, your life sentence is up, go live your life outside. Now, on the surface level, you think, you've served your life sentence, you've paid what you owe.
Yeah.
You get to live a life. Great. Off you go. Brooks didn't see it that way. He started breaking down. He's just like, I don't want to go. This is all I've essentially always known this. And that's why he was threatening one of the main cast, because he's like, if I do this, if I commit another crime, they'll keep me here. It's just like, that's the only way they won't let me go. Andy convinces him not to do it and says, Brooks, this isn't you. For gosh sake, put the knife down. And Brooks does, and eventually agrees to leave and give it a go. And he does. And in the moment in the film that I struggle rewatching now, I will say I still struggle rewatching, you see Brooks attempting to engage in his parole and the reality outside. Cars, there didn't even used to be many cars when Brooks used to be outside of prison, and now it's all he sees everywhere. The outside world to him is so advanced and it's nothing he's ever known. He's scared of it. He is absolutely just driven into a corner in fear. And the job, he's, again with the times, he was berated and seen as someone lesser. For like, you're on parole, you're just like the lowest of the low, and you're like, he just got ignored and pushed down by the world out there, and he just felt alone, emotionally broken, and he didn't know what to do. And it was the bit that got me was when before he left his parole, was when he let go of the injured crow, and he said, I can't look after you, they won't let me take you with me, so like, off you go now, Jake. Jake, the name of the bird. And it wasn't until he was sat by the pond throwing bread towards the ducks, is sometimes I wonder if Jake would come back. And that was the bit I was just like, this man is so lonely. He wants his adopted crow to come back to him. Who knows if the crow comes back to him? At the point, it's highly unlikely. That's really That's really friggin' sad.
Mm.
And he makes the absolutely mortifying decision to take his own life. It broke my heart. It did. I was just like, he had no one. He had no family, no loved ones, no one to communicate with, no support network, pushed down. A really scared old man that didn't know what to do. His whole world was flipped upside down. Everything that he had built in attempt to reform, and the prison didn't even offer him any form of just like, we have got this guide support network for you. They were just like, here's your flat, here's your job, get on with it.
Yeah.
Just get with the times, old man. Come on. And it crushed him. He couldn't do it. Oh, I don't know what you want to.
I mean,
Yeah.
again, I mean, I harp on it quite a bit, but again, it kind of speaks to the importance of the community again, like the fact that Brooks had a community first, and then not by choice of his own, but by the system to a degree, like his community is then torn apart from him, and having no anchor, having no sort of form of anchor on the outside. I don't know. I speak quite a lot in regards to living alone, all sort of stuff, and dealing with it, and some benefits to it. But there is times when when I'll sit down in my bed someday and go, I'd like someone around. Or I'd go out for a coffee and again, you know what, I'd probably like to have someone just to bounce off of while I'm having this coffee right now.
Yeah.
You've got to have a certain mentality to kind of push through it. Like my mentality as of now is I have goals to complete, so that's my current direction. But those goals won't last forever. Won't last forever,
Yeah.
or they'll be completed, or someone will get away, or life will get away, sort of thing. So I've got some forward direction, but I'm under no illusion that direction will sort of run out, and to have an anchor is kind of important. Like we're not isolated creatures as such.
No, sorry to jump in. The idea of being isolated as well, it is not in current human nature.
No.
At least, with most of the way that humans got to where we were, it was because we worked together.
Yeah, we were in tribes.
Of course, there were differences with wars, skirmishes, battles, however you want to put it. Of course, history is very important to understand how there was conflict to get to where we are now, unfortunately. But like at the end of the day, the civilization, that the world wasn't built by one person. It was built by people. And it is not in our nature to be alone in the world. Look, it's this is heavy. This is heavy because a lot of people feel that. A lot of people
nowadays, big old factor,
are physically alone. By that meaning, of course, there will be that there are those that feel that every day, that because they don't have a partner in their life, they don't have friends. Some people don't have family as well. People don't have a support network at work. They do feel physically alone, and to that end, it will push them to that state of mentality.
I like to
that they're alone as well.
Pick on something only because it's minor.
Yeah.
Kind of. Like going through workplaces, there's occasional workplaces where they kind of put a rule where you can't speak to your colleagues. It's like, whose idea is that?
Are you kidding
it's
me?
Like, hang on. We're human first, for a start.
What sort of
also like
does that?
You need to, just by human nature, you need to vent, and like there's a couple. There is marriages that are a bit hawkish in regards like you can't speak while you're working. Well, hang on. If you go home and you got no one to support you, who the heck are you speaking to? if not yourself? Like, whose idea is this?
That's beyond
Um,
because
and the ironic thing is, they speak about mental health. I'm kind of go, oh yeah, mental health is really important, but you can't speak to your colleagues.
I get it. Like, obviously, there will be colleagues that you don't get on with and see eye to eye.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, you still got to work together.
yeah,
It's your job. But like, obviously, I'm not commenting on obviously circumstances in work where things get bad. You know, obviously that's when you draw the line.
yeah,
But just like there obviously will be people where you just simply just don't like them because you just don't like them.
Yeah,
That's
so-
okay.
so
But no one was ever meant to. We aren't meant to be friends with everyone. You
Mm.
know. But that lack of communication is robotic.
yeah,
We're human. It's not necessarily attention. We just need understanding.
Mm.
We're very complex creatures. Emotional support and feeling as though we can vent, we can be ourselves, we can crack on with what we like. We're allowed to have our bad days. We're allowed to have our good days.
Mm.
And if we step out of line, there will be people to tell us if we do so, or if we don't quite have a good day at work, there'll be people to help us and point us in the right direction.
Mm.
You take away that freedom of speech, you take away what makes a human, you know? Within
Yeah.
work.
I mean, I can't. I can actually. That's a lie. I can comprehend the mindset because there's a certain mindset where efficiency is key and being able to be efficient and hit the bottom line of a business. You know, our colleagues or who we employ must be robots to the company and all that sort of stuff. So I do see the mindset. It's a very cold and robotic mindset. I don't understand how it evolved to the way it has. But yeah, like it's strange. Like you get these companies harping on about mental health all that sort of stuff, and yet again, as I mentioned in the previous episode, like your actions had nothing to do with mental health whatsoever. You got a nice sparkling poster saying, "Oh yeah, we care." You don't. Like, don't lie to yourself.
What is it? Oh, it's something I've seen like job applications at the moment where they ask the employee, "Why are you doing this job?"
Yeah.
And when people give the answer back, like, "I'm doing it because I need stable financial income to enjoy my social life, live with my friends and family," and then the job turns around and go like, "That's not an answer, is it?"
Yeah,
Like, what?
There's a really dangerous precedent going on right now that I'm starting to notice. I mean, it kind of came through in hustle culture, but it's even more now where people have become zealots to the company. It's like, you work for the company. It's like, no, I work. Yeah. It's like, no, I work because I want to actually enjoy my life.
Yep.
That's not selfish.
No, it's not.
The idea, the fact it's selfish is kind of stupid. Like, you speak to older colleagues who've got families and all that sort of stuff, and they want to go on holiday. It's like, no, it's not selfish. If like, I would like to one day have a family, so no, I'm not going to be selfish in regards to, like, I would like to enjoy my life outside and hopefully find a partner, invest in that partner as well. But there's workplaces that kind of just assume that, oh yeah, you'll work 40 hours for your company and we'll ask you for overtime, and yeah, suck it up. It's like, no.
Yeah, I mean, going back to Shawshank, this is essentially what Brooks went through.
Yeah, basically.
It is. They didn't see a fragile old man that needed help.
No.
They saw a reformed prisoner
Yeah.
who was asked to get on with it and didn't. So he was abandoned. He was. And they just left him in his biggest moment of need.
Yeah.
His cry of help. They abandoned him. It's awful. And then it cuts back to the prison and we see the reaction of all of his friends. And they're like, oh, say what you want to say, but like, what is it? Red basically said, just like, Shawshank sent him to the end of his life.
Yeah.
Shawshank did this. But Brooks should have stayed here. He should have. It's just like, it's unfair. It's unjust. You see it later in the film with Red, and you contemplate if he when he succeeds in finally getting his parole on his life sentence, that he will follow down the same path as Brooks, and that is your concern, because he mentions, he's just like, sometimes I don't even care, I just want to stay here, because if I out there I could make mistakes again, and like hell, in here I know what to do. He's coasting. Red is coasting his easy life. He doesn't want to take the risk.
Yeah.
And it isn't until he meets Andy when he starts questioning that. He sees a good man with good intentions who sets his eyes on life outside of prison. Like, when I get out of here, and he's like, and when I get out of here, this is what I'm doing. And Red goes, you've got your head in the clouds.
Yeah.
You're thinking dangerously. That's just how it is. You got to get on with it. You know, we're here. That's that. You're not getting out. That's when he goes around and goes, yeah, you're right, Red. Get busy living or get busy dying.
Yeah.
Walks off, scares Red, because Red obviously sees that as, in that moment in time, like, whoa, what do you mean? Get busy living or get busy dying? You mean living here, and if you don't want to live here, you ultimately want to take your own life?
Yeah.
That's what Red saw. That's not what Andy meant. Andy meant, get busy living. Live the life that you want to live and make those changes happen, or get busy dying. In the better term of, like, you'll slowly be eating at yourself if you just coast through the easy way and just ignore everything around you and embrace your vulnerabilities. You know, obviously the vulnerabilities make you, but you know, you can't let them consume you.
No.
And I'm not saying they will. There should be that support network around you, and there really, really is. There always is. Again, in episodes with disclaimers, I always leave a support number in the comments, in the description, and I will put it in the comment section as well for a support line if you've been affected by anything that Elliott and I have been talking about. No one is alone. At that time, Brooks was failed and he was left alone. But with the sentiment of a good man with Andy, he's implying, no, you aren't alone. And he was really trying to hit it home with Red. That's when he turned around and said, Red, do me a favor. If you ever get out of here, head to this specific location. It will make sense when you get there. And he's just like, are you going to elaborate? He goes, no. Goes off. So he gives him hope.
Yeah.
He gives Red hope and said, get out of here, go there, everything will become clear.
I mean, I wouldn't even say it's hope as a fact, but I would probably go in a more realistic term. It probably like gives him like intrigue, like an answer question, and then in that unanswered question then evolves into hope, I guess. Once he gets out,
he wonders.
Yeah.
Obviously, Red is fearing the worst, but when the events unfold and he realizes Andy made it out, he broke out of Shawshank. And not only that, he exposed the evil of Shawshank, and now Shawshank is redeeming. The world can finally see inside the wall.
Yeah.
And behind the wall, and all the corrupt is finally at judgment. So that's when Red goes, I might not need to stay here anymore. I know my friend is out there living a good life. He did it. Get busy living, get busy done. He was busy living.
Yeah.
Red himself quotes that on later in the film when he's let out on parole. He gets on with his work. Even asks, what was it? He gets into the habit of being a worker, almost enslaved as well as a prisoner. And in the shop as well, he keeps on saying permission to go to the toilet. His boss goes, for goodness sake, if you need the toilet, just go. You don't need to keep asking me. Go. Treat it as a human. Just like, you need the toilet. I'm not going to tell you no. What? But, of course, in prison at that time as well, step out of line, just like, my goodness. You can't do that. That's when Red gives into the idea that perhaps there is a good side of life after all. Perhaps, you know, he was allowed to have we're all allowed to have that. But he finally sees it from opening his eyes outside of the wall of prison, and meeting a good man, Andy, and making that friend and having that support, he realized there was more to life than just being Red. He could be, I think his real name's Ellis, isn't it? It is.
I couldn't tell you.
I think it is.
Yeah.
And I remember they just said they call him Red because maybe it's because I'm Irish and it's just his prison name, Red.
Yeah.
But outside, he realizes there's more to being Red. He's engages in Andy's activity and finds that Andy's left him money and he's given him a precise location. Says, "Come and find me. Let's start our life together. Let's do it. Let's be buds. Because I trust you wholeheartedly. We can do it." And that's how the film ends. Two men finding the best in life and getting the ending that they both deserve. It can happen. It can. And it was done through emotional guidance and support.
I think the other interesting thing about, like, if you were to film that film again today, I would think the modern audience, a modern sort of film would probably, rather than cut it at the end of the film where they're sitting on a beach having a beer and there's a mystery to that, I think a modern film today would probably cut the mystery from it and probably see them like move into a flat share and get into each other sort of thing, and then they'd end the film sort of thing. I think the great thing about ending it with no sort of story after that is kind of going, life by its very nature is a mystery, so you may as well embrace it.
We don't know what they get up to. I agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly. The way that the camera zooms out, the way that it just zooms away when you see Andy's obviously working on repairing his boat, and then Red, his classic, the hat that he's been wearing all this time, outside of prison, it blows off, and the pair of them look at each other, smile. Then it zooms out as you see Andy and Red running up to one another, and you see just a very, very tiny silhouette of them hugging. And then that's it. That's all you see. You don't hear what they talk about. How did you find me? What you've been up to? How did you do? Why did you do all of that to Shawshank? I mean, sorry, no. How did you do all that to Shawshank? You don't know what they do because you almost don't need to. That's all you need to see. Just that they're going to live out the rest of their days there, and they're going to be happy. There's going to be good days and bad days, but they're going to be fine. They're going to be fine.
I kind of think the modern culture these days always likes answers to questions, and some questions shouldn't be answered to a degree. I kind of think we kind of lose our mystery in questions we don't know the answer to, and like again, I think that comes down to the modern sensibility of we've got instant gratification in regards to, ordering food or driving somewhere, or all our quests of life are already fulfilled instantly. I think the benefit of, Shawshank in regards to like leaving that question open, you kind of don't get the gratification of it, so you got to question it. You kind of got to go, oh, okay, life is, life must be a mystery sort of thing. Like, you got to think about it for yourself, which is quite interesting. Like, I don't think you get that in a modern film. A lot of the plots are narrated these days, and a lot of people, you don't have to think too much on some plots. Rather with Shawshank Redemption and Goodwill, like they actually both end with a cut with no kind of full stop as such.
You don't see. I was gonna call him Goodwill Hunting. You don't see Will get with Roxy.
No,
you don't see that big reunion that you want. You don't need to. You just know he's pursuing the life he wanted to.
Yeah.
You don't see what Red and Andy get up to. You both know they're just pursuing their life they want to.
Yeah.
Look.
But the great thing is you can imagine different stories as well with that.
Well, that's true. I mean, like you say, if it was made today, perhaps there is that ending where we like finalizing things. We as an audience and a world, we like seeing a conclusion.
Yeah.
But I can't help but feel that some people want to see more. They want to see good. I don't blame them, to be fair.
Yeah.
Would you hypothetically? Do you want to see good, like Will and Roxy have a good life together.
Oh yeah.
Sure, you do. Then people are just say, well, that's boring. Throw some dilemma into it because we want to root for them. I'm like, you don't need to do that. Just
No.
you don't. You're just making something out of nothing.
You don't need drama for the sake of it. Just like you could just have the imagination that they are enjoying their life.
And I'll briefly speak before going back to this conversation and digress briefly. That is what kills some franchises.
Yeah.
With the big demand for sequels
Mm.
and continuation. Just like, why do we need to carry a story on when it's done? The
Yeah.
story is done. You're just like, but there's more of the world to explore. There's more answers. There's more questions, you know? Just like, come on, give us more. Like, no, you don't need to. The story's done.
The story's concluded. You can stop now. Like,
Yeah.
you know. And also, I think again, in that retrospect, is because Shawshank and Goodwill have an ending, they carry a lot more weight now more than ever. Because they were filmed in that sort of era, and some of them didn't perform very well. But in this era now, where in this sort of modern age, they've oddly enough become more relevant because everyone's trying to find their meaning in life again. You know, everyone's sort of zealots to a company, but at the same time, everyone knows they're not fulfilled because the company's a company. The company will just drop you in a heartbeat if it needs to.
Yes.
So what else is there outside of your working life? What's your next steps outside of your working life is kind of what people are looking for next. Like, where do I go? Yeah.
It's so difficult because it drives people almost mad in a way. This capacity to need to know, this capacity for closure. Closure comes in many different forms. And it doesn't have to be this a big black and white finish line. It doesn't need to be that. Sometimes we just move on. Sometimes life changes and we move to something like, for example, a career change. For example, it doesn't need to be like this. I will find this job then, and then I can have this big grand farewell to my current job, and I can, you know, move on, and that will be that. Sometimes maybe a job just comes out of nowhere, and you're just like, wow, okay, I don't feel ready to take that yet. Why? Why? Because I'm not ready to say goodbye to your current job. It's like, will you ever say goodbye to your current job if you do that? Like, no. So don't wait and just do it. You know, it's taking these risks. It's jumping into that unknown, really, and almost not knowing what comes after it, but doing it because you want to and because you know that it will be good for you. You know, it's scary, sure, but we don't know until we try. And sometimes we don't need to know what becomes of it. No one really can predict the future. You can't predict your own future. Everything could change tomorrow. Who knows? You just it's one of those things, isn't it?
Remember, we're on Spotify, so if you're out for a run or working, you can always listen to us. Isn't that right, Matthew?
What?
Oh. Yeah, it's funny. I had an interesting conversation. It was a couple of weeks ago where we're kind of reaching this precipice of AI, and jobs are gonna disappear at some point. And I mean, not all jobs, but the majority of jobs are going to disappear at some point. And what is there from life? What is worth in life if you can't work for your money, sort of thing. It's going to be a really interesting conversation going into the future because everyone's been so zealotry in regards to, you must get a career, you must work this hard, and you must earn this amount of money, and you must have this really nice car and various other things, and yet at some point that fantasy is going to die, I think. And people are going to get jobs that they're not going to enjoy, and I'll use Good Will Hunting just slightly a little bit, because I touched it briefly last time around, where Will's judged because he's a working class sort of thing, and yet you find out his knowledge is superior to superior to university. I think what's going to happen soon is, jobs are on the jobs are dropping anyway. Employment rate as it is going down as it is. At some point, this career snobbery of you must get a certain job, you must earn this amount of money, has to die. Otherwise, society as a whole will get competitive and start kind of like losing itself again. And it's a naive hope to a degree, and I understand it is like people have got to start respecting each other again, not for the work they do, but for the character which they possess.
Yeah, I get that, because we've only got one life.
Yeah.
So we need to live it. And we can't be so focused on money is the route to happiness, because it's really not. Money can get us things, but you can't really truly be happy unless you're happy with your own company. And it is awful that money is the way to find methods to find happiness, but it can be used to get that, absolutely, but it's not the root of all happiness. It's not, because at the end of the day, if there's a big EMP and it just wipes out all AI all over the world and all electronics or something like that, hypothetically, well, then we're buggered. But me time wouldn't be a thing anymore. That would be sad.
Okay, that's what we're going on to know episode.
We'd have big megaphones in the middle of a cornfield or something like that. Howdy, folks, it's me time. Don't know why we're American all of a sudden. Yeah. But it's wipe it all away.
Yeah.
What are you? Look at yourself as a human and see, am I happy with who I am and what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Am I? If it is all wiped away, will I be able to get through the day with myself? And that's the really important thing to focus on. You need to learn to live with yourself, because you can't hide from yourself. You really can't. There are people that you can move on from. Yeah. Sure, absolutely. You can. I will say, for better term, cut people out of your life.
Yeah, I
wouldn't even say that's a harsh statement.
No,
some people do need to be cut out of lives.
I think it's a quote that's mentioned quite a lot, and I'm guilty of using it, but I actually want to refine it slightly, because
it does sound quite severe, doesn't it?
So, and I think people who have been close to have used it, like I did recently, but I think before you cut someone out, they've got to reach a certain threshold. One is, you've given them advice, but they're not taking it on. 2, they haven't got the motivation to even try anything else. And 3, what's the outlook on life? Which is a kind of a controversial one to a degree, because a lot of guys at the minute have got a very negative outlook, and it's fair, because there's a lot going on. I myself am sometimes guilty of it. But I think what I'm now finding is, the outlook. Again, I kind of mention it again. The outlook isn't the outlook isn't monetary. The outlook is who you experience in life with. That's the main one. Anything else can be adjusted and worked upon. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I've seen a lot of humans, a lot of people not close to me, and a lot of people quite close to me go through that process of understanding what life is, and it's heavy.
Yeah.
It's bloody heavy, and I get what you're saying.
It shouldn't be easy.
No,
It
no.
shouldn't be easy.
Oh, no, it shouldn't. No, I've said this, and I'm proud of saying this. It's like the best route in life one takes is not the easiest one.
Well, even the decision to cut someone out shouldn't be easy. Yeah,
It's not.
Yeah,
It's not that we don't walk the easiest path to get to the best version of
Mm.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not with everyone that you meet in your life.
No.
And you'll realize who needs to be there and who needs to be there for themselves.
Yeah.
You can't help everyone. That's a tough pill to swallow. Oh my God, it is.
That's a lot.
Trust.
That's a hard
You really want to help everyone, but at the end of the day, the only person that is in their way is them. You can't be the one to get through to them. You can help, you can support, but if they're not listening, this is something they've got to figure out for themselves, and this is within all of us, man and woman. I've seen it really upset people when they're just used.
Yes. Yeah.
It makes me very upset because they don't deserve that. So I've met some really kind people, and obviously, it infuriates me that if their kindness is intentionally used or unintentionally used, if you know what I'm trying.
Yeah, I think so.
But that shouldn't be. Their kindness shouldn't be shunned because it's rare in this world.
Yeah.
It really is. It doesn't cost anything to be nice, but it's easy to be bitter, angry, and sad. It's easy, which is why people just give into it, because it's easy to then just feed into just all the things, all of our comforts, and then we wonder why, when our comforts stop, we continue being sad and upset. Is because we're just deciding not to do anything about it. We either expect people to help us, or we just can't be bothered to change.
Yeah.
Which is really upsetting, because that can deal a lot of hurt.
Yeah.
It can, to yourself mainly, but to others as well. And it's something that I don't stand for. I don't.
No,
it's I just I can speak on behalf of myself here. Like, people can do things to me, and they can use and abuse my kindness, which is obviously not good, and I obviously won't like that, and I won't, and I'll rise to it. Just like, don't take advantage of me. But when it happens to other people that I care about, that's where I'm just kind of like, I'm drawing the fucking line.
I think what's worse, is when people are kind and they haven't developed a backbone in the process, which is so sort of so pure, which is so cool when you see it. But once someone starts kind of using that to their own advantage, is there and you try and encourage them, kind of do, like, you've got to put your foot in the sand now, and I know it's really hard, like, but you've got to put your foot down and kind of go, look, you can't do this. And it's that sucky thing, because like, they're so confused. You can see it in their eyes, the confusion. It's like, do I have to do that? Do I thought everyone's sort of kind of like, nah. Someone will exploit that. I mean, again, I was guilty of the past, but kind of being a bit of a pushover.
Yeah, myself. I would. I'd be. Yeah.
And then, the first time you kind of push back is terrifying.
You feel awful.
Yeah.
You feel like a bad person.
Yeah.
You do.
And it weighs on you for days. Which,
oh gosh, it does.
Yeah. I think it's off that first kind of pushback. I think the first couple of days is tough, and you'd love, and at that point you'd love someone to talk to, and sometimes you don't, which kind of sucks. But like, I think the endurance after you put your foot down and getting used to it
Mm.
is a lot easier.
Yeah.
But then you've also then it also becomes a bit of a what's the word? It kind of becomes a bit of a duty to a degree. Like me and for yourself, where we find people that don't have a backbone, and it kind of becomes your duty to kind of protect those people, to kind of go, look, we are both similar in the fact that we've got good intentions, but I have the strength that you don't, and I need to defend you because of that. And you can try and teach them, like and sometimes just teaching confuses them even more.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
and like at that point they're going, okay, then it's my sole purpose to kind of look after you.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think, I know I'm not afraid to say this, there was a process that myself and yourself went through.
Mm.
You know, I didn't know how to look after myself.
Mm.
And you took it upon yourself to come in and help.
Yeah.
Of course. And I'm not afraid to say that. I believe we've spoken about this
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
podcast
yeah.
before. But, you know, I was going through a tough time, and Elliot came in to me out for a coffee one evening and was just like, come on, let's just talk it out.
Mm.
And I did. I was relatively open. I don't think I was fully open with you, but I was relatively open
I guess
about
you must have been open enough
it was
at the
mainly
time.
about my career at the time.
Yeah.
And I won't go into detail about what that was and why,
Mm-hmm.
but the gist of it was we just spoke, and it's what I realized from that was the capacity of which you cared as well, that I wasn't alone, and that there were things that I needed to try and take into consideration. Should this be the path that I wanted to continue on, you were offering advice.
Yeah.
Like maybe perhaps try this, and this, but then you gave your 2 pence,
Mhm.
and you were just like, but at the end of the day, I can't be the one to tell you to leave, but maybe you should, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, that was the decision I had to make.
Yeah.
But through many other times where you showed that you were there, and just you cared, and you're just a friend, something I needed in a very difficult time, it really did help. It did. And I realized that I was going through a really dark patch, and I just needed to accept I wasn't okay, and accept that I needed to start making these big decisions to help myself.
Yeah.
I couldn't be the one to turn around to you then and say like, oh yeah, Elliot, I need help me.
Yeah.
Because then obviously you turn around and you'll help me, but that's very unfair on you to like take on the full burden of me.
Yes.
Very unfair. I need to be the one to take that on myself.
Mm.
Obviously, when people are at their lowest point, they need to be picked up and
Yeah.
supported, but that can't be that forever, you know?
Mm.
You need to people aren't always going to be there physically for you.
No.
Sometimes they're in a place in the world where they don't have any phone service, or they can't receive any letters or emails or something like that. You can't talk to them. But I'll be back in like 3 days, but just like I'm just going to be radio silent. You won't have them, so you'll be by yourself, or you'll be other people. You can't have that trusted person in your life all the time. I mean, relatively all the time, but like, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
You need to be there for yourself. You need to look after yourself. And it's tough.
I mean,
It's tough.
I think whenever I kind of issue advice or have advice to either as such, a lot of my advice comes from past experience or past mistakes sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I might even have any advice, and at that point, you kind of have to go, I can't help you. This is a fight you've got on your own, and that's tough.
Yeah.
And all you can do is kind of go, I'm here to talk, but I've got no framework in which I can direct you towards.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And at that point you're just kind of listening to someone and going out for a drink occasionally. I think I wanted to touch on the point as well, where we have this really misconstrued idea of strength at the minute, where strength is used to dominate and conquer all sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that yes, it is to a degree, but also it can be used as defense, and defense in many ways, and defense in regards to someone's mind. If you're stronger than that individual at the time, then it's your duty as a stronger person to bring them up. And then again, if you're strong in a physical sense, then again it's your duty to defend them at that current time period, and then bring them up again when the time arises that you can do. Strength by its very nature is not bad, but it needs to be directed in such a way in which it's not been corrupted. I've had a ton of conversations where guys just like go, I am strong and I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this, and on it. And it's like, dude, shut up. Like, as much as you want to be some big ass macho dude, you sound like a dick. like you just, but they end up being naive at the same time. It's like, no, you've got. I admire your strength, but you now have a higher purpose to call to, not just I have dominance. Dominance by its very nature is kind of like cavemanish, I'd say. It's useful at times as a tool, but you don't use it all the time. Defense is the more noble cause for strength, I'd argue.
Yeah. It's fragility.
Yeah.
Think about it. People are scared. I'd just go back down to the basics. Really. And they fight back that fear by doing what they think is right for them, and that's not necessarily the right thing. Sometimes we give in to like our most basic needs of what we want, but what we really need to do is what makes us happy. Maybe that is a basic need. Maybe it is, but it rarely is in my experience of understanding that from my perspective and others as well. You need to follow that path towards the best version of yourself. And if you've got to make a few difficult decisions to get there, then so be it. But you need to get to that mental and physical strength to make said decisions. Let's be real. Exercise does help. It does. It's for a form of therapy for many people, myself included. Doesn't always, because not everyone can do exercise. There are other exercises that people can do, other rituals and routines. But at the end of the day, don't be scared of your own calling. Just embrace the fear of the unknown.
Yeah. I think, there's a lot of guys suffering with anxiety at the minute. And it's like, you gotta get used to fear a bit. And that sounds harsh.
Everyone,
like the harsh truth of like going,
anxiety is
the
a
only
whole
way you
overarching
can get
thing.
past anxiety is to kind of embrace that fear.
Yeah, it is. And
we'll touch on it on another episode, because
I think so.
Get to it now, because I've already answered the question already. But like, I think I think people are afraid of fear, and it's like, nah, fear's sometimes good.
Yeah.
Just because it grows strength at the end of the day.
And there is always someone there for you. There is that support network. Unfortunately, the film Shawshank showed an example where there was a time where there wasn't a support network, and there was people were let down. We have that now. We have a support network. There's friends and family. I know not a lot of everyone in the world has friends and family, but there are charities. There are those with jobs and volunteering that quite literally just want to help. You know, there are so many tools out there for us to understand that people care. And with that support network, you can get the strength to do those difficult things to get to the best version of yourself,
Yeah.
And again, and I'll link it. I think I will link this up here. to the special in Phase 1 that Elliot and I spoke about on behalf of the Samaritans as well. I feel like after this conversation, that's quite a relevant thing to link, where we both speak up on our stories about quite literally going through this process and making these difficult decisions when our lives were quite dark, you know?
Yeah.
And it is doable. It doesn't feel like it is. I understand that. It doesn't feel like it is. And maybe it's an infuriatingly slow process that you just want to just be done. I feel better. Get that. But just understand it's okay to not be okay. And as long as you have the understanding that you aren't alone, then, you know, getting to that best version of yourself and feeling happy with yourself, which is the root of all success. Being happy with your own company and yourself and the life that you are living, to whatever form, then you'll be okay.
Yeah,
you will. Which is a good lesson that Shawshank teaches. In very emotional form.
Yeah.
You know? But it's good that we're rounding this to a close on that. I think movies with meaning, because that encompasses Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
I think that's that. Don't you? I think, unless you have anything else to say.
No, I just say look out for each other out there, because it's a tough world.
Oh gosh, it's really hard.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, Elliot and I are here. You know, this is what me time is for. To just have that, again, to understand there is a support network.
Yeah.
But there are lines out there, and support and numbers and email addresses, some of which are in the description now if you've been affected by anything that we've been discussing about on YouTube and Spotify. And there is always someone for you out there. There is support. You aren't alone. And yeah, I think that's just a really important thing to understand. Anyways, we will end movies with meaning there. So in terms of what happens next, so the time that this goes up, this will be the end of March, most likely. April's around the corner. So that means my marathon is less than a month away at this point in time that the episode goes up. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, sorry. But like,
Sorry,
we would have by the time this episode goes up, our half marathon's tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah. Our half marathon is tomorrow.
Oh damn.
Bosh. So what's next? And as we know with episode 26, if you haven't seen it already, a community spirit episode is due. So that's very, very exciting. We filmed it. It's ready to go. We're very, very excited to release it to you. It's going to be a big one. These episodes, I'm very happy with the runtime of the episodes with Elliot and I. But this one, of course, with our guest, there was more to discuss because there's not just two of us. There's three of us.
Yeah.
So there was more to discuss. So it is a slightly longer one.
Literally a year in the making.
Yeah. Well, yeah, a year in planning, I'd say.
Yeah.
And it won't be the last one. They
No.
might not upload at the end of the month each time because life happens, not just our end, but their end as well.
Yeah.
So there will be another community spirit episode. But in terms of what to expect after that, in episode 32, with what we are going to be discussing, the official title of the theme of the month will probably be announced on a post. But generally speaking, we'll be talking about more realistic, darker and gritty incarnations of vigilantism, and the toyed concept of superheroes.
Yeah.
Instead of explicitly like, I am a superhero, I will be doing super things, it is, I'm given the title superhero, or I'm given title vigilante, you know? So there will be things that we speak about. So for instance, I know we want to talk a little bit about The Boys.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about The Boys. I'd like to talk about Invincible as well. And I think it would be a little bit criminal if we didn't talk about MHA Vigilantes as well. We'll throw that into the midst. Because, I mean, with My Hero Academia now over, Its successor, My Hero Academia Vigilantes, technically not its successor, it's a prequel. Will be our new sort of thing to focus on.
Yeah.
So expect that in April. The official sort of like title, I'll announce in the coming weeks after the episode. Community Spirit airs, so you're familiar with what to expect for the month, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
So if you didn't stick around for this admin bit, I don't blame you, but like I don't want you guys being in the dark.
Yeah.
That's not what we're about.
No.
We like to be an open canvas here on Me Time.
Yeah.
We like to show what we plan and what we've got next for you guys. So yeah, tune in same time next week for the first Community Spirit episode of Me Time. Very excited to share that with you. And until then,
keep
remember,
an eye on our socials.
remember, there's always time for Me Time.
Have a good week. See you soon.
Look after yourself, stay safe, take it easy. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Me Time. If you haven't already, please consider following, subscribing, sharing and liking. It helps Elliott and I out get more episodes of Me Time to you.